my name is Cindi Meyersohn. I'm the CEO of DataRebels, and I have with me today Dan Linstedt, the CEO. I would say our CEO, but the CEO of Data Vault Alliance. Dan is the creator and the inventor of the Data Vault solution. So we have a couple questions for Dan. Once he says hello, gets to greet everyone. I'm gonna dig into one question that's kind of burning right now.
Hi, everybody. Glad to see you here.
So, Dan, one of the things that has come to light recently, and it's probably been in the last actually, I would say couple of years with some of the new tech that's out there, but there are a number of our users that have a data vault in place right now. And so, for some of them, they've been looking at things like Databricks. So, can you talk about whether or not, there is, first of all, I will say, can you even compare Data Vault to Databricks? Is that an accurate comparison? And in that answer, would you talk a little bit about whether someone has to replace their existing Data Vault and do it all over again if they choose to go the Databricks route?
Yeah, for sure. We can talk about that. First off, most of the time I will shy away from answering questions about technology. Databricks, on the other hand, is something I'm happy to talk about. Why? I think their technology is groundbreaking in some ways, right? We are friends with the folks over at Databricks, and if you haven't read their articles about Databricks and Data Vault, you should head over to their blogs and take a look. Some of that stuff is really, really good. And they have a couple of people on staff that really know what Data Vault is. But from my perspective, Databricks really cuts the mustard. Now, that said, that's just my opinion, okay? It works in really certain situations, and it works really, really well for specific things. Beyond that, I'm just learning about Databricks. But the question is, do I need to replace my entire data vault or do it all over again using Databricks? Or, and I've heard this one too, should I do Databricks or Data Vault?
Well, that's kind of that comparison I was asking about, right?
Yeah, yeah. And the answer is wrong. The
Okay.
answer is it's the wrong question. It's
Okay.
the wrong question. It isn't Databricks or Data Vault. Databricks is a technology. It's a platform for executing and moving and transforming data, doing things and generating code, right? It works with audio, video, images, which I'm really impressed to see. It generates Python code and AI and ML plugin and code and all kinds of wonderful stuff. It does all that processing. It even manages the workflow around unstructured data sets. Super powerful stuff. It's got Delta. There used to be something in there called Databricks, which is part of it. And that's a Delta processing on a data lake. So it isn't just, should I do Databricks or Data Vault? This brings me to a particularly interesting feature of Data Vault. Data Vault is a methodology. It's not just a data model. That's the first thing. And we've said this for years, and I can't tell you how many people just, it goes over their heads, they miss it, they don't read it, they don't want to pay attention to it, I don't know. But take your pick, right? But the interesting side of this is we've also been saying since the beginning, since day one, logical modeling is more important than physical modeling. And the physical model can and should adapt or change to meet the needs or performance of the platform you implement on. Come on, people. How much more plain as day do I need to get with this, right? And in the 2.1 materials, we dive into that. But I'm just going to give you the answer here. Since you asked the question, we've done this. First, I'll give you an example. We've done this for years. We've done it in Cassandra. We've done it in MongoDB. We've done it in Hadoop. We've done it on Teradata all the way back when, and we've done it on Snowflake as well. We do it today with JSON formats. And what is it that we're doing? Well, we create the logical model in hubs, links, and satellite format, the way the standards recommend and follow the recommended practices and everything else. And so that's the modeling aspect of it. And of course, we have the methodology and everything else. All of that, the methodology, the architecture, and the recommended practice, they all stay the same, right? But the modeling changes. When you go to the physical level, On Cassandra or on MongoDB, you have to flatten the structures. You have to denormalize them, bring them together. And flattening or denormalization, in case you're wondering, basically means to make big flat wide tables, right? That's take stuff that's in separate tables, collapse it into wider tables or single tables. So we've done this for years. And what we're doing now in 2.1 is we're leveraging JSON format natively. So there's absolutely no reason why you can't use Data Vault at the logical level and then export it into a Databricks solution and leverage the physical modeling that Databricks applies, or whatever the case is. You know, you're not going to take your image data, for example, and reformat it in hubs, links, and stats. It's not going to happen, folks. Most likely you're going to run pre-processing, about 15 different pre-processing steps in a workflow that's extremely complicated to pull out what we call features. And those features, similar to tagging, very loose definitions here, so don't climb down my throat. There's a lot more to it, but very similar in idea-wise to tagging is you're adding metadata. You're extracting features, interesting things, and you put it in a JSON format, right? And this is one way to represent that physical data. Well, of course, if you're looking at a physical JSON file, whether it's coming from audio, video, image extraction, or text document extraction, or whether it's coming from structured data, JSON is clearly not a data vault model at a physical level, but we leverage it, okay? We can and should and do leverage it. Think of it this way. Remember all the hype when Hadoop came out? Schema on read is the next best thing. Well, yeah, schema on read is great. Well, we've had that for years too. Remember COBOL redefines? Oh, don't want to ruin your head on that one, but it's been around a long time. My point is this: Data Vault logical modeling is very powerful as long as it meets the business needs and is driven by business context or business key, right? So the conceptual model ties to the logical model. The ontologies and taxonomies in business drive that whole stack. And then you get to the physical and you denormalize, you overlay. It's schema on read at the physical level in the data lake. This is why I'm so excited. This allows you to bridge the gap using whatever platform technology you want, whether it's Snowflake or Teradata or Databricks. You just plug it in and go. So that's the answer to your question, I hope.
Right. So in the new 2.1 class, are we emphasizing more around, I know we've been talking about this, the logical being critical. The other aspect I would say on the Databricks side too is that if the only thing someone is considering in Data Vault is the physical data model following a Data Vault standard, are they not missing 80% of the solution
Oh
actually?
yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely. If all they're doing is focused only on the data modeling portion, the hubs, the links, the sats, and they're throwing out everything else, right? They're not thinking or acting on the architecture. They're not thinking or acting on the methodology, or they're not thinking and acting on the implementation or the recommended ways of working or the disciplined agile delivery. Of course, they're eliminating at least 80% of the savings and the best practices, the recommended practices and the right ways of working and the agileness and the delivery cycles. I mean, just there's so much more to Data Vault that goes way beyond the model.
Yeah.
Now, I can see some people's brains turning and some smoke coming out of some of their ears going, what, well, the physicals, what do you mean? The physical's not important? Oh, yes, it is. Well, can't I use the Data Vault model as a physical model too? Yes, you still can. If you have a platform that supports it and you want to still do Data Vault modeling at a physical level, that's fine. You can do it. We're not telling you not to do it. We're just saying it's not your only option. There are times when you want to put pieces of your model in a physical Data Vault model, and there are times when you need to break away from that, and you need to use JSON, and you need to use unstructured data, and you need to use documents and images and audio and video, and you need to use all kinds of different types of physical layers, including flat wide tables or files, CSVs, for example, right? Or different files in COBOL format, NebSedict, whatever it is that's sitting in your data lake that's curated, right? Let's just put it that way. And that you want to leverage in a particular way. That's physical. That's your physical modeling. So there are times when it's best to use the physical as it lies, or slightly restructure it, or add some elements to it. You might add a few pieces or metadata to the JSON files, for example. And there are times when you want to take certain data sets and model them in a physical nature in a Data Vault style. But you're not stuck to doing your entire enterprise data warehouse in a physical Data Vault construct, right? But again, the caution is I'm talking about physical and logical data modeling as if that's all there is. And you made this point earlier, that's not all there is. So don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. Don't believe everything you read on the web that it's all about the data modeling and there's too many joins at the physical level. Who cares about joins? If you've got too many joins, denormalize. Take it to first normal form for all I care. Use BigQuery. There you go. Smash it into 1 or 2 or 3 big fat wide tables. You can still keep your Data Vault model in the logical. You can still make use of it. It's still got business benefit at the business key concept and construction at the concept level, attaching it to the ontologies and taxonomies in your corporate metadata catalog, as well as the methodology and the ways of working, the discipline agile. I could go on and on and on, but I won't because it's all in the 2.1 class.
Great.
Well, at least most of it is.
So we'll be talking about that in 2.1. We'll be teaching people about that. And I think one of the aspects of the logical model that we can really sort of lean on heavily is this idea of logically splitting apart relationships from, the business keys from the context, the context around either the relationship or the business key, and how that might inform in Databricks the cataloging there. So these are things that I think are symbiotic to a certain extent.
Absolutely, absolutely. And we do need to close this video up. So
Yep.
I'm gonna say this. We've got more videos coming. If you like what you hear on this video, you should be thinking about joining us, not just on our podcast, which are also on the YouTube channel, but you should think about joining us in our pro members area, because we do this every month. We answer questions, we dive deep, we go into this. This is, a prime example of how we support our community and our pro members. And it's just phenomenal, the stuff they bring. And we do this also once a quarter, again, in addition to every month with the pro members, and we dive into specific topics. But that said, you can come and see us at the meet and greets that we have, or contact us if you want to get us on a targeted workshop or team-based workshop. You want to find out how this really works. But ontologies and taxonomies, or the corporate metadata and the metadata catalog, the idea of understanding your business and your business keys and the relationships between the terms and the terminology at a business level, that stuff doesn't go away. It only gets more difficult unless you've got a methodology like Data Vault that helps you get there. So don't forget, Data Vault's got a methodology attached to it. It is a system or a solution, right, for your enterprise analytics.
So on a Databricks and a Databricks situation, you still need a methodology.
And you still need a methodology.
That's why we don't compare Data Vault to Databricks.
Absolutely.
It's a methodology and architecture and implementation and a model.
Yep.
Primarily logical versus a technical or a technology platform.
Yep, absolutely. And if anybody who's working for Databricks is out there watching this, my shout out to you. Give us a call, contact us. We're happy to chat with you.
Great.
Let's see how we can collaborate.
Beautiful. Thank you, Dan.
Take care.